This lesson introduces group policy. All versions of Windows have had some method to configure the operating system, configure applications. However, in the early version, these settings were done via INI files, basically text files. The registry was introduced as a centralized place where configuration settings could be stored, and pretty much every part of the operating system can be configured through a registry change. Manually manipulating the registry on a machine-by-machine basis in a corporate environment is really not practical. And so group policy allows us to define policies which can then be applied to the machines in the domain. And in fact, it's not just limited to machines, there are user-specific settings as well. Now, even a machine in a workgroup actually has policy. A local security policy allows many configurations about the machine. Some of the most common include account policies, for example, password policies, account lockout policies, and information we wish to audit, for example, auditing account logon events, directory service access, object access such as file access. User rights assignments, so who can perform which actions. And again, this is something you typically would not want to do on a per user basis. You think about giving groups access to these rights. For example, the backup files and directories automatically has that local backup operators group added to it. And this is what adding users to those groups does. Those built-in groups actually have been given specific user rights on the machine. In addition to this local security policy, there are actually a number of other policies available. If I launch an MMC environment, I can do add remove snapping, group policy object, add that, and it's going to ask me which object I wish to add. In reality, rather than just the computer, you can actually create local policies on a per user basis, so all of the local users would be listed here. I only have an administrator user, but also separate policy objects for anyone who is an administrator, and then for everyone who is not an administrator. But like setting values on a per registry basis, I don't really want to rely on setting things using the local policy. So more commonly, we're going to use group policy for all of our machines that are members of domains. Here you can see I have the group policy management console open, and here I can see all of the various organizational units that exist within my domain. I can see the group policy objects that are linked at the domain level. And then if I select a certain organizational unit and expand it, I can see the group policy objects linked to that specific OU. Notice we can't see containers. I can only see the domain and my organizational units, which is where I can apply group policy to. The other place I can apply group policy is a site. However, generally we prefer not to apply group policy objects to a site. The reason is a site is a forest concept, whereas group policy objects live within a specific domain. If you apply a group policy object to a site, then you may have that needed to be applied to machines that are in different domains, which means to apply that group policy object, it has to do various Kerberos traverses to actually get and use the group policy object. These group policy objects are actually stored in two different places. Part of it is actually stored in the Active Directory database itself. For example, if I go and look, I can see under System, Policies, the various group policy objects that exist. So if I go back to that group policy management console, and I look at my default domain controller's policy, I can see its GUID is 6AC, etc. I can see this in ADSI Edit, and I can look at the properties, and every time I change a group policy object, it's version increments. So I can see this is version number 19. So really the information in Active Directory just contains the version number and a few pieces of information. The majority of the group policy actually lives within sysvol. So this is replicated between all the domain controllers in the domain. In this case, again, it's sysvol, the domain, policies, and then I've opened up the folder representing that GUID. This GPT file shows this is also version 19, and this is very important. The version number in Active Directory must match the version on the file system or group policy would not be applied. Then the actual settings defined in there are shown in this folder structure. So this is how group policy is actually stored and used.